Hello, I'm Shane from AccelByte, and in this video, we're going to show you how easy it is to integrate our SDK into your game. And so the steps we're going to follow are we're going to create a game on the AccelByte backend. We're going to generate some client keys, which allow us to log in and use the services. We're going to download the AccelByte SDK, and we're going to write some client code and hook it all up. So by the end of this video, we should be able to log a user in and pull back some details from the server and verify that the service is actually up and running and working in a relatively short amount of time. But first, a quick overview of what AccelByte is. So AccelByte is a game backend platform built by experts who hail from Epic, EA, Microsoft, Ubisoft, and a few more on top of that. We're a one-stop shop for microservices, so we cover player authentication, we provide a player profile that you can store data, stats, cloud saves, and more. We also have e-commerce, chat and social, matchmaking, server orchestration, telemetry analytics, crash reporter, and loads more options and services to pick and choose from. So that's what AccelByte provides. However, while we do offer a lot of out-of-the-box solutions, you can pick and choose what services you want to integrate into your game. We're firm believers, and we've experienced that there is no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to building a backend for a game. Every single game is different, every single game is unique. Even if they share the same DNA, no two games have exactly the same systems in place. So with that, you'll probably talk to us, tell us what your game is about, tell us how you want your game to play, and we'll work with you to customize our existing features to make sure that they behave exactly how you want them to behave for your specific game. It's also worth pointing out that we work with single tenant instances, which means that your game is only running on your server and it can't be affected by issues that may be caused by other games like surging in popularity or various other reasons if you were using a multi-tenant instance. You also own your own data, so every single bit of data on the server belongs to you. We don't touch that data for anything other than running your game. We don't sell that data, it's yours to own. So with that, let's get started. So if you're going to follow along with this demo for configuring your own game and setting it up, you've likely contacted us and we've stood up a service for you and you're ready to start integrating AccelByte into your game. But otherwise, it's just a quick demonstration of how quick and easy it is to actually get this stuff set up. So we're going to jump on over to our player portal. This is our lovely website here. Player portal is this. So what you're seeing is the player portal, which is where you configure absolutely everything from, your game stores, your login methods, the legal documents players have to agree to keep using your service, server orchestration stuff, and like tons of stuff, many different services. But what we're in here is the top level publisher namespace. So this would be like where you configure your homepage if you have a store set up there, and users to log in and all that kind of stuff. We want to create a specific namespace for our new game. So we're going to click see all namespaces here and we're going to click create new. And I'm going to call this one GDC 2021. And again, we'll go with that again for our namespace ID. That's all you need to do. We click create, give it a second. And we now have an individual namespace for our individual game. So each game can have separate stores, separate login methods, separate entitlements, all that fun stuff. But for this use case, we want to get something up and running in Unity as quick as possible. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to click on platform configurations and we're going to click OAuth clients. And then I'm going to quickly type in GDC 2021. Oh, we don't have one configured for that because that's what we're doing. So click create new OAuth 2 client. We're going to use a public client ID here. So we've already got it generated for us. I'm actually going to make a note of this. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to stick it in my text editor. There it is. So we're going to name this the GDC 2021 client. We're going to give it the namespace of GDC 2021. We're not going to set the target audience or the base URI for this right now, but we are going to give it a redirect URI, which is required. So I'm just going to stick it to localhost as we don't really need it for anything in this particular demo. So once the client ID is generated, you'll see it all here. There's lots more stuff you can configure, but right now we're just going to copy and paste that ID again. We don't need to do anything else just to be able to log in. So the next step is for us to download our Unity SDK. I'm going to head over to our docs portal. It's docs.accelbyte.io, where our documentation team works painstakingly to make sure everything's in an awesome working order, and we're always changing this. So make sure you keep it bookmarked and check back in frequently. So at the very bottom of this page here, you can see the Unity SDK. We're going to click download on that. It's going to bring us to GitHub. We're going to click on we're in the latest release here. So we're just going to download the source code as a zip. And we're going to open it up and copy it out to another folder. And so the next thing to do is just bring the SDK into our Unity project. So very simply, we're going to pop open our Unity project. Here's one I made earlier. It's very simple. It's just going to be a username, a password, and a login button. We're kind of going for that old school MMO style login where you boot the game up and you're greeted with the screen. We do, of course, support like Steam login and Epic login and silent logins and pretty much anything you want we can do. So here's my SDK downloaded, and what I'm going to do is open up the assets folder. I'm going to copy these into our project. So I'm going to make sure I'm in the root asset scene here and copy AccelByte and resources. And away they go. And they're in. So two things we need to do here. The first one is we're actually going to go into our resources folder, and we're going to open up our AccelByte SDK config. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in our games namespace, which I believe was GDC 2021, our publisher namespace, which was AccelByte. We're going to leave everything else as is. We don't need to fill in all these URLs just yet. But we're going to go into our client ID, and we're going to take the one we copied and pasted from earlier. So we go here, and we're going to leave our game secret empty. And we're also going to leave our app ID empty. So again, if you're using more services, we can provide you with the URLs that you'll need to be able to pull, or make use of all this kind of stuff. But right now, this should be everything we need to just get a user logged in and good to go. So we're going to save that, and we can see it's updated in Unity. So what is next is we're going to create a script. So we're going to make a scripts folder. Scripts, and we're going to create an AccelByte login script. So AccelByte login. And this script, it's going to be very straightforward. So what it's going to do is we're going to load our user object. We're going to attach the login button to a function. And then when that login receives data back from the server, we're going to get the user's details, and we're going to print those details out to the debug log. Nothing fancy, just straightforward, super quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out these system collection stuff, and I'm going to add in using AccelByte.core, using AccelByte.api, API, and using AccelByte.models. So we'll be needing those for what we're going to do. I'm also going to remove the update function, and we're going to start declaring some variables. So we're going to need a string for our username. So private string username, and we just equal an empty string, and private string password equals an empty string. And then we'll make a get set for that string username equal get username, and set username equals, and we'll do the same again for our password. Oh, and we need to actually put our very friendly semicolon on the end there so things don't get confusing. Right, the next thing we need to do is declare our user object. So we're going to do a private user type, and we're going to call it the AB user. And again, we're going to go private user data. We're going to go AB user data. So this is basically what's going to, the AB users are what's going to take our user data or our user object and keep it locally. And as well as store some information that we pulled down from the server. And again, AB user data is going to it's like extra data for the user, and you'll see how they're used as we move forward. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just fill AB user with a kind of new empty version of that data. So we're going to initialize it with AccelByte plugin, I believe, .get user. And then we will create our, just put a public in there. And we'll create our login function. So this is the one that's going to be tied to our button. So public void login user. And that is just going to be AB user dot login with username. And we're going to use our username, our password, and we're going to declare we're going to put in a callback here for this as well. So login callback, so that when the server responds with data, we can do something with that. So our login callback is going to be private void login callback, and we're going to use data type result. And we're just going to call that result. So what we're going to do is we're going to check if result dot is error. Well, we need to tell ourselves about the error. So debug dot log. Help if I can spell. Encountered an error, and we might as well tell ourselves what the error is, so we can actually debug it. So result dot error dot message. And if we don't get an error, we can also do stuff like return the response code of the error and a few other things as well to help us narrow it down. So if we don't get an error, we're going to say debug log, and we're going to tell ourselves, hey, that was a success. Way to go. And again, it helps if I could spell. My brain is falling off today, and we need to put the .log in here. So this is live coding, folks. So we're going to use get user details as our function for this. So get user details is just going to be, we've successfully logged in. We need to get information about this user so we can actually fill out their profile and display like their username, their user ID, and all that fun stuff on the screen. We can also have more stuff in here like get their list of friends and just like kind of whatever flow you can think of, we can support with this method. So we're going to do public void get user details. And again, it's just going to be super simple. If I can work out my new keyboard correctly, always a bad idea to get a new keyboard right before a demo. So ab user dot get user, is it get user details or get data? Yep, and then get data callback is what we're going to do. So again, AB user has context of who our user actually is now that we're logged in. So once we're able to do that, we can just say ab user.get data, and that'll perform the correct API call to actually return information about that user. So we're sending up an API call with the current logged in user's ID. And with that, we're going to then private void get data callback, and we're going to use result, and we're going to make that a user data result. And again, we're going to call it results just for repetition's sake. So again, we should just check if result dot is error, and if it is, debug dot log get user data failed. I don't know, why did it fail? Well, result dot error dot message, and for funsies, we can do a debug dot log and response code, and then plus, and then result dot error dot code. So armed with that, I can now go and ask our support team, why am I getting this error? It should be working, and given that we have some information like their message and the code, we should be able to narrow it down pretty quickly and effectively and get back to you and help you figure that stuff out. But if we don't get an error, we're going to say our AB user data is going to equal our result dot value. So the value, the result, the value result of our get data. And then we're going to just print out our username. So debug.log display name, and our display name is AB user data dot display name, and we're going to debug.log our user ID. Make sure we have it in a similar format, AB user data dot user ID. So we can actually do some, I can show you the list here. So you can do, the type of authentication they're using, if this player is banned, the country they're in, date of birth, email address. There's tons of stuff we can pull down from the information or from the player just with this AB user data thing, but we just want their user ID right now. It might help if I put the correct dot there. Lots of typos. Keep things interesting. So with that, that's basically our code. I'm not seeing any other errors. I've caught them all in time. That's always a good thing to do. Keep it neat. So with our code written, we'll go back to Unity, and hopefully it won't complain about anything I've just written. So yep, we've created our AccelByte login script, and what we need to do in our scene is we have our canvas, we have our event system. I'm going to create an empty game object, and I'm going to call it AccelByte logic. And this is the thing that's going to manage and keep hold of all of our AccelByte stuff. So I'm going to attach the AccelByte login script here, and you're probably wondering, there's nothing else in the scene that AccelByte's doing, so how are we actually running this script? So what happens is I'm going to click play. When I click play, it'll instantiate an actual AccelByte singleton or whatever you want to call it, and that'll take all of the commands from these individual scripts that you're writing to keep everything separated and neat, and it will perform the API call for you and return the information to the script that you've written. So if I click play, we actually haven't hooked anything up, so it's not going to do anything. But we'll go to our username input field, and on value changed, I'm going to drag in our AccelByte logic, and I'm going to click on AccelByte login, and we're going to say on value changed, we're going to update our username string. I'm going to do the same for the password, so AccelByte logic, AccelByte login, update the password string, and then super easy, go to the login, and you guessed it, I'm going to drag in the AccelByte login. I'm going to click AccelByte login, and we want to log in our user. So now if I click play, you can see that the script has instantiated the AccelByte coroutine runner. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in my username, Shane at AccelByte.net, and I'm going to get my password manager here and copy my password. And there it is. And you can see in the console here, it's sending data back and forth to the server. We could actually make this more verbose if we modified our SDK config to debug log, filter more intense, or I can't remember what the exact string is, but you can get more information out of this, like the actual headers and all that stuff that's being sent to the service. But right now, we only just need to know that we've logged in successfully, we've grabbed our display name, we've grabbed our user ID, and we can actually verify this on our player portal. So on our demo portal here, this is again what the namespace, AccelByte namespace, is running. But if I click login here and log in with the same details as I just did in the demo thing there, I can then look at my player profile here, and we can check the console. I have no new agreement policy to accept. So if I go to my my account, and I can see Shane at AccelByte.net and my user ID. And I think the user ID is actually going to be different because this is the top level publisher namespace, and this is my user ID for the game level namespace. But it's pulled in the same username, and it's all working off of the same admin portal system that we have going here. So that's it. It's very quick and easy to get up and running. But if you want to see something more complicated, or what we actually do is we have a sample game that's available on the GitHub, and if we jump into the sample game here real quick, we can actually, there's tons of stuff going on. There's an entire track and field game that's running, but we've written scripts that basically integrate with every AccelByte service. So if you're looking for like kind of a how should I go about integrating chat logic, we have the full chat service integrated with our game here. Same thing goes for entitlements, friends, leaderboards. just about every single service you have available on AccelByte, we have integrated in this sample game. We also have a Unreal SDK. The Unreal SDK works pretty much the exact same way. All the steps would be the exact same, just the code would be different. So if I go back to my doc portal here, docs, no, not docs.google.com, docs.accelbyte.io. There we go. And if I click on the AccelByte SDK up here, you can see we have code examples for getting started with Unreal, and pretty much the exact same thing of connect to AccelByte, on login, click, do this, do that, and how the debug log works, and all that stuff as well. So very straightforward, very quick and easy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you can email us at hello@accelbyte.io, and we can talk to you about what you need and how we can help. And we can probably even get you access to a demo portal where you can test this stuff out yourself. But for now, that's it from me. Hope that was easy enough to follow along. And again, if you have any questions, just send an email to that address and we can probably clarify some things, or leave a comment on this video and I'll periodically drop by, and probably so will some of our engineers, and just kind of give you a heads up and let you know what it is you need to do or change. But yeah, in the description of this video, I'll throw in all the links I've mentioned here. So it will be the where is it? Yeah, it'll be our AccelByte webpage, our documentation portal, and probably a link to the demo portal, and as well as a link to our GitHub, both our SDK on the GitHub and as well as our sample game. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope that was informative. Let us know what you think, and goodbye.